To access the driveshaft, you'll need to remove the center section of the exhaust. This car has an aftermarket exhaust, so your process may vary slightly. Next, unbolt the hangers at the front of the cats. Then, remove the heat shield above them. You will now have access to the driveshaft carrier. Make a cut on each side of the carrier. Support the driveshaft. Then unbolt it from the body, but hang on to the two OEM spacers, which should actually be on top of the carrier feet, not underneath. Remove the outer frame. Using a razor blade, make a cut underneath the metal inner frame, all the way around to separate it from the rest of the bearing. Then cut the remaining loose rubber hanging off the front half of the bearing. Trim any excess hanging off the front and the center until it's flush with the base layer of rubber. Leave the base layer of rubber intact. Your bearing should look like this when you're done. Now we can install the new carrier. Take the top half with the bushing in it and slide it over top of the bearing with the text facing the front of the vehicle. Then bring the bottom half up to meet it and connect the two together using the provided Allen bolts. As you tighten the bolts, switch back and forth from left to right so the bolts don't bind in the holes. A small gap may form between the two bushings. This is normal. To mount it to the car, take your bolt, put a fender washer with a larger inner diameter on it, an isolation damper facing up, go up into the carrier, bring another isolation damper down from the top, a fender washer with the smaller inner diameter, and the OEM spacer on the very top. Same thing on the other side. Bolt, larger fender washer, isolation damper, through the carrier, another isolation damper, smaller fender washer, and OEM spacer. Tighten both bolts to the car. Once you reinstall your heat shield, it will likely be a very tight fit. This is normal. Your installation is now complete.